It's time for a beer!
Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review, and I use that term very loosely because what we are doing now, we're going to head off to Aldi's and we have a drink that is part of their deluxe range. And as I said, I use the term beer very loosely because we are actually reviewing a cider, and it's, like I said, it's part of Aldi's deluxe range. It's been expertly crafted in partnership with Henry Weston's, by all accounts. And it does say on the bottle, the cider maker is Jonathan Blair. And what we've got is a bottle of their English vintage cider. It's coming in at 6.8%, so it's a big old number. It's in a 750ml bottle, and this was the mere price of £1.89. Now, you look at the percentage, you look at the size of the bottle, you look at the price, you're thinking, my God, that could be a steal. But we all know that some beers don't always work like that. So hopefully it's going to be good. I do like the label. It's kind of plain, simple, a little bit boring maybe, but I do like it. It's a screw-on top, so sort of like black rim, gold cap. Obviously I don't have an Aldi's glass or whatever, so we're going with a Strongbow cider glass. I'll try not to bring the Strongbow side of it into it too much. So yeah, let's get it cracked open, if you like. Get it into glass and see what we get. Now, back end of, bit of fizz going up there. Back end of November, opening a cider probably isn't the right time to be sort of doing the beer. I don't know if this is something that is a regular range in Aldi's either, but we'll see. I mean, it could be in Lidl's, but I'm certain Aldi's do the deluxe stuff. But yeah, and I don't know how, like I say, I don't know if it's a regular range thing or how long it's been in there. I think I've had it a month or two. So I suppose if I have had it that long, a couple of months, you could be looking at the, sort of like the back end of the summer. So let's stop waffling on. Cider in a glass. It is very, very light. It's very, very clear. It looks very clean, it looks very crisp just from the look. There's plenty of bubbles going up. There's no sort of head on it. Not a surprise with cider. I mean, it didn't really create a big head. But yeah, it looks as you'd expect. So I'm going to dive in on the nose. And I would like to think that I'm going to get a lovely a lovely clean, crisp apple aroma. And yeah, that, you know, it's just apples. It's a cider, for God's sake. It's English vintage cider. But yeah, it's got a lovely sort of crisp apple aroma. Maybe a touch acidic on the nose, but you kind of expect a little bit of an acidic aroma on a cider, really. You know, you're always going to get some of that in there. But it does smell really good. It does smell really good. And surprising, you know, you might think, oh, what you're on about, Baz? It doesn't feel watery in the aroma. And at 6.8%, you wouldn't expect it. Or you would hope not to get it. So, smells good. So let's stop waffling on. Let's dive in on Aldi's Deluxe English Vintage Cider. Expertly crafted. In partnership with Henry Weston, shall we say. Cheers. Oh yeah. It is nice. That is nice. You don't expect a heavy body with sort of cider, but I've said before in previous videos that some ciders do feel a little bit heavier. I mean, I'm not going to say syrupy. Well, I am going to say syrupy, but not in the sense of maybe syrupy. But it sort of gives you that feeling of syrupy, if you like, as in heaviness. I'm going to say this is in between a general cider of being reasonably light, maybe a little bit watery, and a heavy sort of cider. I'm going to say this is in the middle. There's certainly no wateriness. but there is a bit of weight to it when you drink it. A nice level of fizz. It's not ripping that palate apart with fizz, but there is a nice level of carbonation that you would like in a cider, because let's face it, that helps get the flavours around inside the mouth. It's nice, it makes it a little bit exciting. Clean, crisp, smooth. Almost has a soft feel to it as well. There we go. This is going to be fun, isn't it? The taste. For me, just a lovely, clean, crisp apple taste. I don't know how to put it, because it's not sweet. There is a slight sweetness in there, but it's more of a dry cider. So for me, you sort of get a mixture of apples, I would say, in there. You get that sweet side maybe of a red apple. But there's that dryness, that crispness of a green apple and sort of apple core, apple skin kind of flavour going in it. That's really enjoyable, to be honest. And like I say, it's not too sweet. It's got that dry crispness. And I think we see a lot of sweet ciders out there that call themselves medium sweet. And they're probably more sweeter than they need to be. Excuse me, I do beg your pardon. But this one, it's got that subtle sweet edge with a sort of dry, dare I say, tart bit of finish, something like that. And I think it's really well balanced, to be honest. I think that's really nice, because I think you don't want anything too acidic. You don't want anything that's too sharp. So I think that sweetness on the front end, if you like, and the tartness on the back end is great, because it gives it drinkability, but it gives it the crispness. So for me, let's get the rest of that in there. Not much left. Aldi's Deluxe English Vintage Cider, which is expertly crafted in partnership with Henry Weston's and Son, and the head brewer was Jonathan Blair. For me, I think that's a nice drop, and I tell you what, £1.89 for a 750ml bottle of that. I think that's decent. I mean, you're certainly not being ripped off. Wrong time of year maybe to be drinking it, but if you, one thing you can say about cider, if you're trying to quench your thirst, and it doesn't really matter what time it is, or time of year, I should say, what time of year it is, if you get a good cider, it really hits the spot, even if you only have one. So for me, as I said, this is well worth picking up and giving a go. Good value for money, decent strength. It's going to hit the spot when you want something wet. So yeah, give it a go. So if you see it in Aldi's, like I say, give it a go. Repeat myself again. If you've had it before, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment. And that's it. Feel free to subscribe. That's it for tonight for the beer reviews, maybe. And I'll see you again soon on another one. Cheers.